The news spread quietly, without the grand headlines that often follow royal departures. And yet, for those who knew her story, it was impossible not to feel the weight of her passing. For Catherine was not just another name in the long lineage of royals. She was a woman who lived through love and loss, through expectations and disappointments, through challenges that would have broken many. This is her story. Catherine Lucy Mary Worsley was born in 1933 into an aristocratic Yorkshire family. Her childhood was steeped in tradition, her future seemingly secure. From a young age, she was surrounded by privileged, sprawling estates, fine schooling, and a life that looked, from the outside, charmed. But inside Catherine carried a quiet determination, a yearning for something more meaningful than titles and expectations. When she met Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, cousin to Queen Elizabeth, their union seemed almost like destiny. Their wedding in 1961 was a grand affair. Thousands lined the streets, cameras flashed, and the world looked on with admiration as Catherine walked into the heart of the royal family. To the public, it was a fairy tale, a beautiful young woman marrying into royalty, stepping into a life of grace, jewels, and grandeur. But fairy tales, as Catherine would discover, can unravel quickly. Too, her marriage was never easy. Prince Edward was quiet, distant, and deeply absorbed in his royal duties. He was a man born into obligation, and though he fulfilled his role with discipline, warmth did not come naturally to him. Catherine, full of empathy and compassion, longed for connection that too often wasn't returned. Then came her mother-in-law, the formidable Princess Marina of Greece and Denmark. Marina was regal, intimidating, and notoriously strict. She had little patience for what she perceived as weakness or softness. Catherine, newly adjusting to royal life, often found herself judged, corrected, and at times dismissed. What was expected of her was perfection. Every gesture, every word, every appearance was scrutinized. And Catherine, despite her best efforts, felt she never truly measured up. But the greatest trials were not in etiquette or duty. They came in the form of personal tragedy. Catherine endured heartbreaking losses during her childbearing years. She suffered miscarriages, painful, devastating moments that left scars no crown could hide. Each time she grieved, she did so quietly. Royal women were expected to present strength above all else. But inside, the sorrow was deep and unrelenting. For any woman, the loss of a child is unbearable. For Catherine, it was compounded by the isolation of royal life and the lack of open comfort from those closest to her. She felt alone in her grief, her pain tucked behind palace walls. And yet, despite these trials, Catherine did not break. What makes her life remarkable is not the challenges she faced, but the way she responded to them. Instead of retreating into bitterness, she turned her pain outward into empathy. She sought out ways to serve, ways to love, ways to be present for others in their own struggles. Catherine developed a deep love for music. She taught in schools, guided children in choirs, and supported young musicians. Long after the glitter of her royal duties faded, she spent her days in classrooms, blending into the background, teaching children not just to sing but to believe in themselves. She even chose at times, Mrs. Kent, preferring humility over grandeur. In 1994, she made headlines by converting to Catholicism, an extraordinary step for a senior royal at a time when such decisions were not common. For Catherine, faith was not a political statement, but a personal sanctuary, a source of strength she could turn to when the world felt too heavy. Through all of this, Catherine became known not for her title but for her humanity. She listened to people. She comforted grieving parents, supported struggling students, and stood with those who felt forgotten. She proved, time and again, that a duchess could be both royal and real. Her later years were marked by quiet dignity. While others in the royal family chased the spotlight or carried the burden of public scrutiny, Catherine preferred the background. She was, as many said, the people's duchess, not because of glamour or rebellion, but because of her simple willingness to care. And so, when the world learned of her passing at 92, there was a pause, a moment to remember a life not defined by crowns or palaces, but by courage and compassion. Her story leaves us with a powerful message that even in the most gilded of cages, struggle is real. That loss and loneliness can strike even those who appear to have everything, and that true nobility is not found in wealth or status, but in kindness, humility, and resilience. Catherine, Duchess of Kent, showed us that we are not defined by the pain we endure, but by the love we choose to give despite it. May her memory remind us all that strength does not always roar. Sometimes, it whispers in the quiet acts of compassion that change the lives of others.